Hello, this is Fatima from Easy Automation Labs, and this is our 8th class of QA. Today our discussion will be on STLC, not SDLC, STLC. Okay, from our last class, let's go back to our last class where we learned how our alpha testing version got tested and goes to UAT environment, and then how we move on to today we will learn how we will go to our pre-production environment and what happens, what sort of testing features we use on this part, and what are the how we do other testing parts as well. Mainly we will be discussing STLC. So yeah, okay, so what happens in alpha testing? So alpha testing, in this part the developers mainly collect the suggestions from the end user or the group of people that was hired in the usability testing phase, and they gave us suggestions or defects that they found, and we mainly the developers mainly work on fixing them to make the software more accurate in this part that is called alpha testing. And in by the end of this alpha testing, the software that we will get, the link that we will get is mostly usable, mostly perfect, but before it goes to UAT environment, and then after it goes to UAT environment we get our beta testing. Okay, so which is our first release, but not for everyone, not globally, not this is not for not a global release, because this is for a selected bunch of people who are interested or who are curious to test the beta version of any sort of software such as Facebook, YouTube. This is not for normal random people. Okay, so what happens in UAT environment I have already discussed in our previous classes. This is mainly for the business people. They use their business test cases to test the software, and they mainly see if the software that have been created was based on their requirements or not, if they are happy with the software or not. Also, they do hire people also to test out for them, and they also do the test this part, following their test cases. But mainly in this phase they mainly focus on their business, how it's gonna be benefiting them. Mainly, it is more focused on commercial part in this part. And if we read all of this, we will get a much better understanding of what happens in UAT environment. And then we have our beta testing. So it's written here: during beta testing, a group of external users test the app in real world environment. As I said, they will be working on there will be normal people who will be using the software as end user, and they will see how the software is working, and also they will be giving feedback continuously to the software developers, the testers, and they will also submit their overall experience, functionality, how the software is using, its usability, everything. They'll be giving feedback to the developers. Okay, so this will happen before releasing it to the public, releasing it to the normal people globally. So yeah, okay, and then now that it has the alpha version goes to UAT, and then it becomes the beta version. Business have already tested it, and now it has gone to the end users. Now after what happens after beta testing, after we have our pre-production environment. Okay, this is our pre-production environment. All right, so in this is right before launching or deploying our software. Okay, right before launching our software, we do some tests in this part. We run some tests in this part. So yeah, okay, we mainly prepare it. Okay, there are some important preparation will hold in this part. So before that, let me give you an example. The name here in this environment is called pre-production environment. All right, it has another name which is called other two names, if I may say. Okay, this is called staging environment. Okay, staging environment, or it has another name. I will tell it later. Okay, so the first one that we do after in our pre-production environment, what do we do in our the first step is to after the software has reached in this environment, we will do regression, full regression on the complete software, full regression. Okay, full regression. So yeah, okay, so why am I calling this full regression? And now you might ask me that it's gonna take a lot longer, because we have already done so many regression testing, so many full regression testing. Then why now the environment has now the software has already came into staging environment, why are we doing a full regression testing this time as well? So the answer to it will be, we are doing full regression, but it won't be like before that we did. It will be an automatic. Okay, so that's why there will be document based on our test features. Okay, test types, more accurate. So like we have different sort of test types, such as smoke testing, we have sanity testing, we have regression testing, component testing, unit testing. So there will be files. Okay, there will be files for each test type. So let's say this is sanity, this is smoke, and this is, say, regression. Okay, regression. So these will be documented, which are called suites. Okay, these are called suite: sanity suite, smoke suite, and regression suite. What did I mean by suite? This is for more automatic. So this is our full regression suite. If you clicked on this, if you generate it in our first in our software in staging environment, it will automatically keep working on by itself, automatically works by itself. Okay, you don't have to do anything, by itself, and it will keep working for an hour, for 2 hours, it depends on the software. So this is full regression suite, and the first step will be full regression suite. We could use other suite as well. So just to remind you that what did I mean by suite will be every feature that will be how we mainly test the software, or how we test the feature, each specific feature, what is the procedure to test it. So that will be, we will write that down in our spreadsheet, you can say, so that we will make a documentation that we will call suite. Okay, so that is why our first step in pre-production on the software will be full regression. Okay, and then now let's go back to another example, which is, so say I have 3 versions of Facebook. Okay, I have 3 versions of Facebook. One, I'm sorry, it's too big. I have 3 versions of Facebook. What's the first one will be version 10.4.500. Second one will be version 10.5.600, and third one will be version 10.5.610. Okay, so now this part is in GitHub. It is not even in testings or anything else. It is in GitHub, and this version is in market. Okay, and this version will be released. Okay, so there are 3 sort of Facebook that I have, and so this one is still in market, and we have worked on this version for a longer period of time, and now we will release it. Okay, so why do we get new update, or why do we release why are we releasing a new software while we have one software working globally on market, or working not perfectly? Why do we need another version? So the answer is to it that we may add, we have fixed many bugs, we have fixed many new features, we have fixed our graphics user interface, we could fix we have brought a lot of changes in our software. That is why we will be releasing a complete brand new version, that the one that we have created it. Okay, so that is why this one will be released. So okay, so as I know, okay, so now that suppose we are going to be tomorrow we will release this version. All right, so if you are going to release this version, so say this is a normal person's PC. Okay, so what happens when we are releasing a new version of our software? What happens, what the end user is gonna see? He's gonna see, not only him, everyone including the testers will see this sign. Okay, maintenance going on. Okay, so basically our update on any software goes for 6 hours. Okay, so we mainly do our update in the night time when everyone's sleeping. Basically not the majority of people are sleeping, and majority of people are working as well, so this is better to update or release a new version in the night time. So that goes for, let's say 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. That means I have 6 hours, okay, to release this version. it doesn't take necessarily 6 hours because it takes 2 hours to deploy, and after we have deployed the version, then we have left with 4 hours to test. Yes, we do test after deploying our um, software. Yes. So now so suppose you are having this image that you are going to deploy your software in 6 hours, but what if this happens, that when you are deploying your software, there comes a huge bug, or what if it crashes? What if it crash? You know. So you are releasing your software, but after you have deployed, you saw that you are facing a huge problem that have messed up your whole software. That will minimum will take you a day or two to fix this bug. Okay, but you cannot keep this maintenance window for end user more than 6 hours. All right, that's not acceptable. That's gonna make a huge problem. So what are you going to do in that case? This one, another part that is more important. Whenever we are releasing something, a new version of our current software to the market, the present software will be removed from the internet. This part will be removed from the internet, from the end users application like phone, PC. He will not see this version. After he have downloaded or updated it into his application, he will be able to see this one, but he cannot use the previous one because this one will be removed from the internet. Okay, but we do have all the codes, everything documented. Okay, what did I mean by documented? Everything, like the codes, the test cases, the epics, the test documentation, everything we have. That's because we have created a version. Obviously we'll be having everything. We only removed the version from the internet, but we did not remove all the necessary data, all the necessary coding from this version, right? We do have all the documents of this version. So in case we face a problem that after deploying our software, that we have to fix this software bug within we cannot fix this bug within 4 hours, so we will be needing more than 4 hours. So what are we going to do? We will immediately go back to our previous version. Okay, we will immediately go back to our previous version. We will run some tests, we will run some necessary tests, and then we will release it. And after we have released it before 6 hours, before the time, then end users will not have any problem, and mainly we won't lose our money that have been invested here. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. That's how the deploying and updating works. But if we haven't faced any sort of bugs, if we have successfully was able to deploy and completely launch our software in the internet within 6 hours, then what happens? Then we will run some tests. And there are two important testing, which is called fallback and fall forward. So this one is called fall forward. Okay, full regression. Okay, or fall forward. Before launching it to the for the end user, launching it to the internet, we do full regression, and we do necessary tests. This is called fall forward. And what is fallback? This is what it's called fallback. We face some bug in our the version that were gonna be released, but we face some defects in our version. Then we will immediately go back to our previous version, and we will work on it within 6 hours, and we will release this version again. That is why this is called fallback. Okay. So fallback, for one sentence, old version will still be there. If any tests are necessary, then the old version will be there after testing it out. So this is called fallback and fall forward testing. Okay, so fallback testing involves switching back to a backup system. So the backup system, the older version or any backup option if the primary system fails, while forward testing or testing new features or updates in a controlled environment. Both messages. Okay, so that was our fallback and fall forward testing while launching our software. Okay, benefits of fallback testing. It means we have already a backup option if our new version face some issues or bugs. Then we have already a backup option. Then we can simply go back to it. We run some necessary tests, and then we release the older version. All right. Okay. Now we have our production environment. Okay. Now we have our production environment. Yeah. Okay, so this is just that I just discussed right now what happens in while launching the software preparation. That means the preparation that we will do right before launching our software. The maintenance window will be opened, and all the deployment team will ensure if all the necessary software and everywhere is in place, and if the environment is stable or not for it to work for the end user. This is just preparation to make everything work right before launching our software. Okay, so deployment is just deploying our software. Okay, so let's see it's here. Once the maintenance window opens, the deployment team deploys the product to the production environment. This involves copying the necessary files and configuring the inventory to work with the new product. Okay, this means while we are deploying our software, this part will be showing to every end user's interface. Okay, under maintenance or page not found, we will be back 404. Okay, so this is that means our deployment is happening in this part, and then testing. As I said, after deployment 2 hours takes, and then we have another 4 hours. Then in that 4 hours we do our testing. So testers play a crucial role. Obviously they are the one who's going to be testing it right after the deployment, and they will test the software while it is in the production environment to ensure that if it's working as required, and if there are any bugs or not, if there are any defects, if the software is crashes or not, if everything is working as planned or not. So testers are really play a really important role in this part right after deployment. And then we have our monitoring. It means everyone will be monitoring everything. After the product is deployed, the deployment team and testers monitor the production environment to ensure that the product is stable and there are no issues or bugs. Okay, so they mainly monitor while in 6 hours that everything is working as they have planned according to the requirements. That's what okay, and then after we have our completion. Okay, once that we have done with our launching our software, We are once the deployment and testing are complete. Now what happens, this maintenance window will be removed from end users interface, and the production or the software will be live. Okay, the live, it is called live for the first time that have been exposed or released to the end users. That is why it is called live. And the deployment team and testers continue to monitor. After deploying the software, the developers or the deploying team and the testers, mainly the testers, will continuously monitor the software if it's working perfectly or not. Okay, so that's what happens in first stages of our production environment, um, right after deploying the software. Okay, now we have some testings, the testing that I was saying again and again. Okay, okay, so our first step in after deployment will be ad hoc testing. Okay, so what is ad hoc testing? So what you are working for in this working to make this software for quite a while, so you know how software reacts, how it's gonna be how it's gonna respond when you click this button, you click that button, you go to that page, you go to another page. You know very well its weaknesses, or how everything related to the software. The testers, also the developers, know very well how the software works in various different ways. So in this, the first testing that we're going to be generating in our software will be, we will mainly focus on our weaknesses, focus on the weaknesses of our software. Okay, okay, so another thing, that after releasing the software in the market, we do some testing. So yeah, so the first one will be our ad hoc testing, and yeah, we will mainly we will do this testing, follow it manually, not, we will not follow any documentation, any test data or anything else. We will mainly test manually on the breakdown, breakdown points, and that is why it is called ad hoc. And we mainly focus on the weak points of in ad hoc testing. Okay, all right. All right, then we have our monkey testing. Okay, after we have completed our ad hoc testing, ad hoc testing is usually done by experienced testers who use their intuition, sixth sense, and creativity to uncover potential issues. It completely based on the creativity, how our software reacts to different unknowns, functionalities, how it's going to be working on weak points. Everything related to here we have to explore and find out. The testers does this part, and this is really important after our deployment. And then we have our monkey testing. Okay, why is it called monkey testing? We all know how a monkey works. If you put a monkey in front of your PC, it will literally crash your PC into pieces. But before that, he will obviously play with the keyboard, right? So how he's gonna play? He will randomly, like a crazy monkey, he will put his hands, he will insert his finger in 10 different keywords at a time. Okay, that is called monkey testing. Testers will follow this specific part for monkey testing. They will randomly move around their fingers in keyboard and see how it works. So let's give you an example. So let's go to Amazon, and say I'm just hovering my cursor, and now I just click this part, I just click this part, I just click this part. I don't know how it's gonna happen. So why am I doing this? Just to see if we still have any defects left. if I click this, just I will be exploring and I will see how it works. Okay, I will be clicking without watching. I won't know, I don't know where I'm clicking, which button I'm clicking, but if what, just to find out if it still has any defects or not. That is why this is called monkey testing, as you are randomly trying putting your fingers on the keywords and trying to find defects on them. So monkey testing is a type of software testing that involves randomly inputting data in your application system to see how it responds. Okay, this type of testing is used for finding edge cases and potential issues that may not be caught by traditional testing methods. Okay, so why monkey testing? We may find new problems, we may find new issues in our software, so that is why this is called monkey testing. After monkey testing, we have our give me a moment, we have our exploratory testing techniques. Okay, what did I mean by this? This is a new, okay, so let's go back to Amazon, and now let's say this is also for the testers as well. Okay, this is completely based on exploring new features or new parts of the software. What I'm seeing in my graphics user interface, say I am a tester in a specific team, worked for a specific feature of the software. Suppose, say, all I worked was for this part. Okay, this digital content and device part. I did not worked on this part, nor this part, nor this part as well. I only worked for this part. Okay, so what I'm going to do in exploratory testing is that I'm going to be exploring other features of the software as well. So let's say I haven't tested this part, but other testers have done it. So what happens if I go to this part and I try to test it following the test plan documentation, or the or just I have to do some testing on new features that I haven't tested earlier. Okay, I'm going to be exploring, I'm going to be watching new features, I'm going testing them, and only reason to do it is to find any bugs, if I find any bugs or not, while exploring the software. So this is what our exploratory testing techniques means. Okay, exploratory testing is a type of testing where testers explore the application or system in a more free form. Okay, using their own intuition and knowledge of the system to guide their testing. This type of testing is often used in agile development environments where there is a need for quick feedback or iteration. All right, so that was our three important testing parts, and as you can see, we have uh, yeah, comparison between three testing parts. Okay, then we have our how we test a user story from step by step. These are all the test types that I have discussed till now. You can see regression, retesting, integration, functional testing. Okay. Now we will go back to today's class. Okay, today our class is mainly STLC. 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 But previously we have learned SDLC. Okay. Previously we have learned SDLC. All right. The first step of SDLC, we know the first one is requirement analysis. Requirement analysis. Then we have pre-refinement. Then we have refinement. Then we have sprint planning. And after that, we make or create our design document, design doc, dev environment, testing, then production, and the last one was maintenance. Okay, that's all the different environment or phases that we have learned till now in STLC, software development life cycle. And in our STLC, what is STLC? STLC is directly related to testing, only for the testers, okay? Software testing life cycle, STLC, okay? But this is important, these two are connected with each other. This part is for testers only, and this part is for the complete cycle, okay? Complete cycle. All right, so in our STLC, the first step, obviously, the requirement analysis. Requirement analysis. And then, before we go to pre-refinement session, before refinement session, we do everyone does some research on how they will be working on the software, how many people, how much time, which resources, which tools, everything, and that is called effort estimation. Effort estimation. This will include tools, and then it will include also time, how many time will it take for each of them, and which resources, which softwares, or which whatever things they're going to be needing while creating this software, okay? And then third important part is our test design, okay? Test design. In our test design, we mainly design our test cases, okay? Test cases mainly depends on the test scenarios, okay? Because I will be writing test cases based on my test scenarios, and I will be writing test steps based on my test cases. All right, then we have our number 4 will be environment setup. Number 4 is environment. What is environment setup? So you got hired in a new company, you will be working with them for creating new softwares or other things. So what are you going to be your personal PC? No, definitely not. You will work your working PC, and a special environment, a special software will be launched by your team in your PC, okay? The one that you'll be working for your company. So they will fix everything. How you're going to contact with your team members, how you're going to be submitting your work, how you're going to be doing everything regarding your project under that environment. I mean, that will be a different environment on your PC, okay? That will be on your work PC, and that is why it is called environment setup. It will be done by your company after you join them. And number 5 is test execution. Test execution. After testing all the necessary data, we execute them, and we create the complete software by executing our data. Okay, this is mainly after deploying. We complete our test design, and another important thing here is our test plan document. I hope you remember from our Confluence that this part, yeah, we create a draft version of our test plan. So we have everything. So we first create a draft version of our test plan, but it will be continuously updated. Test planning, a test design, you have finished test design, just I discussed about it, test execution, the date. So this won't be finished in one day. This is like a notebook. You fill out something, you do some work by yourself, you go out and fill it out in your test plan. Okay, that's how it works. And we have everything here, test execution. This is also a manual for learning everything for related to testing, how smoke testing works, functional regression, defect manage, and then entry exit criteria and test deliverables, everything else. So this will be continuously updated by the QA team. Okay, and then let's go back to the slides. Yeah, this is what I just taught right now. Our first one will be requirement analysis. Then we have our test planning. Test planning. By test planning, I meant the test plan document that I just showed you in our Confluence right now. There will be a draft documentation, and we will continuously work on fixing that, work on updating that. And then we have our test case development. Test case meaning we will write our test cases, many test cases regarding based on our test scenarios. Then we have our environment setup, test execution, and test cycle closure. What is test cycle closure? Once the sprint is over, and also as well as the testing is over, that is called test cycle closure. Okay, cycle meaning one sprint is called one cycle. This is different from other companies. Some may call the complete four sprint one cycle, but some company may one sprint one cycle. Okay, so I just what is requirement analysis? In this requirement analysis, yeah, is the process of identifying and gathering all the documentation to develop, and it also involves the understanding for the needs and expectations of the stakeholders. This is not related to the Q testers. This works for the business owner, project manager, etc., for them. And then we have our calculating effort estimation. Uh, Calculating effort estimation. What is effort estimation? Okay, first one will be our test scenarios. Okay, so effort estimation is mainly goes for in after our sprint planning, first refinement session, sorry, first refinement session, before our second refinement session, after our pre-refinement session. We do all the planning, including the developers and testers as well. We identify everything related to our work, and we will note down all the necessary items, such as what tools we are going to be using, and how many times will it take for the team and the team members to make this feature in 7 days. Okay, and also in the first phase that such as let's say in the planning phase of STLC, the first step in the test estimation is to identify the test scenarios. So this involves analyzing the requirements and identifying the different scenarios that needs to be tested. For example, if the requirement, so the user story is for login page, then test scenarios will be related to the login page only. Okay, and then we have our valid credentials, invalid testing with valid credentials, testing with invalid credential, testing with different browsers, etc. This will also be in our test scenario as well. Then we have our determining test effort. Okay, once the test scenarios have been identified, the next step is to determine the test effort required for each scenario. I mean, how much time it's going to be and how much resources or tools it's going to be used and used for in this scenario. Okay, it depends on each scenario and each sprint. So yeah, we have to, the testers and developers must have to work based on that. And it also works for, we have also our priority and severity cases. We will also work based on that part. Okay, then we have our test estimation. Then after we have done our test effort for every scenario, the final step will be our test estimation. I mean, completely how much time will it take. Okay, for example, if the login page requires the login page, if we are taking 10 hours to create the login page, and then if you are taking 15 hours for registration page, then the total effort or the total timing will be 25 hours. Okay, in this phase, we only calculate the timing of our each feature, how much time it's taking in each feature, following the scenarios. All right, and then we have our test plan creation. Okay, test objectives, define test objectives. Okay, let's go back to our, this is our test plan. So in this part, we will create our test plan. So okay, another important thing is that this was created by our team lead, QA team lead. This one creates our team lead. But if you somehow get the chance to create the test plan, then it will be really important for your job interview question. Like, they might ask you if were you able to create the test plan or not. But if you say that yes, I was able to create the test plan, then it will mark a huge plus point in your interview. Okay, so this is a really important part, because in this test plan document, everything related to our sprints, our scenarios, everything related to our testing the software will be here. So yeah, while creating this test plan documentation, everything here will be in draft version, everything will be empty. Then we will fill it out each day after our work, after we have done anything, we have created anything so far. Okay, the first step in creating a test plan document to define the objectives of testing process. This involves handovers. Yeah, in our first objective of test plan, we will identify, or we will name all the necessary test types in our test plan documentation. All right, and then we have our test scope. Okay, and the second step is to identify the scope of test process. This involves determining what will be tested, what will not be tested. I mean, yeah, in our software, which parts are going to be test, we will mainly test and we will mainly focus on, and which we will not focus on. That's what we do identify in our test scope phase. Okay, then we have our test strategy. Okay, the third step is to define the test strategy. This involves identifying the testing methods, tools, and techniques that will be used achieving the test objectives. Okay, so here our test strategy. Okay, test strategy defined. Okay, everything that we will be following, or everything, all the test types, and how many times, and what tools we are going to be using, we will find it in this part. Okay. And then we have our, yeah, we have already created our test plan document. The fourth step is to create a test plan document. This involves documenting the test objectives. Yeah, we will put down all the items that we have created so far in our test plan document. All right. Then we will review and approve our test plan. Okay. Who will review? All the team members will be reviewing this part. They will review and they will approve this part, and then update test plan as needed. Yeah, I have already discussed this part. We will continuously updating our test plan every time we get a new feature complete, or a new sprint complete. We will go and fill out this part, such as say we have completed our test execution, then we will put the date here and end date here as well. That's what yeah, that's what it update our test plan as needed. Now, what is this? Let's go for this part: use case, test scenario, and test case. So what is use case? For the first time, the the business people give the requirement to product owner. All right. Product owner creates user story, but that is not complete. That is incomplete. But after he hired the business analyst, what does the business analyst does? He creates BRD, FRD, FRS, TRS, and he also creates a complete user story. All right. So that is called use case or complete user story. It has three important parts. First one is actor or title, and then second one is action, and the third one is our goal or outcome. Okay. Yeah, so user story as a user of an e-commerce website like Amazon, sorry, not that one. User story is based on, we will the requirement, the product owner will be creating user stories based on the requirement of the business people. All right. So that, and after that, business analyst is the one who makes the user story complete. Okay. He is going to be adding test scenarios, test cases as well in his BRS. Okay, and then we have our test scenario. Okay, what is test scenario? We will a possible area to be tested. What to test? Okay, so I have suppose I have a user story, one user story, one user. Sorry. So let's say I have our one user story. So following this user story, I will create test scenario. Many, it depends on how many it's going to be. And then following test scenario, I'm going to be I will write test cases, and following the test cases, I will write test steps. Okay, so that's how it mainly works. Yeah, test scenario and possible area to what to be tested. This is for the testers. They will use their brain, they will use their creativity and write down as many test cases, as many test scenarios as possible from the complete user story. Okay. Okay, and then we have, yeah, use case. This is a sample of use case. And then we have test scenario versus test case. Okay, Test scenario, we as I just mentioned, we create the test case following the test scenario. Test scenario is what to be tested, and test case is how to be tested. Okay, so let's read out the example of a test scenario, checking the functionality of login button. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to give you an example. So our mm, first scenario is check the functionality of login page. Now I'm going to write test cases. Okay, yeah, these are the test case 1, test case 2, test case 3. First test case will button, click the button without entering username and password. Click the button only entering username. Click the button while entering wrong username and password. So I will get 3 different results from 3 different test cases while I'm going to be testing our test cases. Yeah, and obviously we will fill out all the necessary results in our documentation, well, where we put down everything. And what is a test suite? Okay, test suite, I in starting of our class I already discussed what is test suite. Test suite is a collection of test cases, for like it works for smoke testing, unit testing, regression, sanity, etc. of a software application. It is a bunch, it is, mainly a documented, more documented part for all the test types, so that you don't have to go through and do everything from scratch. This is mainly, happens in production environment, so that you can only follow the document and go by the document, or it says what, go by the document test data, so that it doesn't take much time. And then, yeah, what is a test case? Okay, a test case is a set of actions executed to validate particular feature or functionality of your software application. Okay, uh, so just as I said, uh, uh, go to registration. Okay, registration, and run some tests. How are you going to run some tests? So the test cases will be, first click the registration, click the my account, then my account, then click your open account, sorry, open account, then click register, and then we have credentials. You can run positive or and negative testing in this part, and then I continue. Okay, these are all test cases. Okay, these are all test cases. Then test cases contents. All right, test cases ID, I have test case title, description, precondition, priority. And yes, so you suppose you have wrote down 10 test cases for one scenario. So in your Excel file, everything, as I mentioned, everything you do in your testing part will be write down in your Excel sheet. So while you are writing down everything, you will be, for future, benefit, you will write down everything, such as for test case ID, which one is test case ID, and which test case title, and description, precondition, and priority, if test case 3 has more priority than test case 2, and requirement ID. What is requirement ID? Let me show you. It's in here. Yeah, it's in here. No, not this one, sorry. Yeah, this is an, yeah, this part is in here. Okay, this is a sample of our test case template. Okay, the first module is our homepage, and second is our book a flight. Second, also the third one is our book a flight. Our requirement ID 1, 2, and 2. These are 2, and test type is our in our home page. We will run the positive testing. In our book a flight, we will run our graphics user interface, and again in our book a flight module, we will run the positive testing. So the priority, let's say priority of home page is priority 1, and book a flight, it is priority 3. All right, and this is just a template of our test case, how it's gonna be, how it's looked. Here you can see test cases and test steps. Open the browser, enter the URL, click on go or press enter. So yeah, this is our test case. And then we have requirement traceability matrix. This is important. What is requirement traceability matrix? Okay, in short, requirement IDs are same in this part. Requirement IDs are same, but the test cases are different. Okay, so go to the example in here. As you can see, I have requirement IDs in this serial. First requirement ID, requirement 1 and 1 and 1. For only one requirement, we have 3 different test cases. Okay, how many test cases we are needing only for this requirement? We are needing 3 test cases for this requirement. Okay, and we will not put out any result until we execute everything. After we are done with our execution, then we will put the expected result. Okay. Okay, and test environment. Test environment is platform that will be installed in your work PC, where you can't put any other outer device or any other data. Okay, because this is your work PC, they will put down, or another name of this test environment is called test bed. Okay, so in your test environment, suppose you in your working PC, they have put down this environment software app environment in your PC. If you try to put a pen drive or a cable, immediately the team members will get a notification, and they'll be notified right away if you try to do anything in your work PC. All right, and then we have our test execution. Okay, during this phase, test team will carry out the testing based on the test plans and test case prepared. Entry criteria, it means if all the necessary documentation, all the necessary data are ready for execution, and the activities that will be needing in our execution. Okay, and then we have our deliverables. Provide defects and test case execution report with completed results, and these are the guidelines for test execution. And then we have our defects and bugs. And another important thing is that we have we also, as I said, we document everything while testing. We will also write down documentation based on our defects and bugs. Suppose we found in one test case, in one simple test case, we found three defects or bugs. Okay, so what we are going to do, we will first put the ID here, and then we will write down the description of the defect, and then in what version the defect was found, we will also write that down, and we will also clear out the steps as well, and date raised, and when did you find that defect, on what date, and then reference, like if you are facing a problem logging into the account, then you will take a screenshot of that, and then you will put down that for better understanding. And detected by which tester found the defect or bug in the software. Okay, and the status. Okay, status of the defect status will be going by pending, will be go by fixed, or if it has been already submitted by any other tester before that this is a defect or not. So that is called status. And then fixed by who fixed the defect. Okay, so that will everything that will contain in our defect report. We will also be doing this part in our Excel sheet because we have to document everything. And then severity. Okay, severity and priority, this is important. Severity, how much severe it's going to be for us and for the end user, and the priority as well. We will work on the defects based on the priority, but mainly we will focus it on end users priority. Say if it's if we found, let's say go to Amazon, if we found a defect in our cart, then this is, of course, this is a priority. Okay, but if we found a defect in our let's say about us, where is about us, where is about us, yeah, Amazon ads, if we found this part, if we found a defect on this part, then this is a severity for whom, for the business people, not for the end user. Okay, so that is that's exactly what we are going to document in our Excel sheet. And also defect classifications, as I just said, severity and priority. So the first one will be this is S0, S1, S2, and S3. Let me write it down. S0, S1, S2, S3. It also have P0, okay? P0, P1, P2, and P3. This is the most severe one, and this is the least severe part of the feature, okay? And this is the most severe. So that means we will immediately, if we found any defect on this part, then we will have to immediately work on this, because this is directly related to the end users, okay? Also, you can see the blocker showstopper. This defect indicates nothing can proceed further. Application crashed. Login not work. So this is a huge blocker. And then minor, it won't cause any major breakdown of the system. Look and feel issues like spellings and alignments. Okay, this is not related to crashing or major features such as login. So that is a minor issue. And then we have our priority as well. And then yeah, this is also a comparison between severity and priority. Severity is mainly for the business people, but priority is for directly related to our end users. Okay, and also we have examples of the high priority, low severity, low priority, low severity. Okay, then we have our defect resolution. In this defect resolution, after submitting our defect to the developers, mainly the state, in which state the defect is in right now. So that is what we are going to do in this part. And yeah, the first one will be accept if the defect that we have submitted to the developer, if it has been accepted or not, if it has been rejected or not, if duplicate by duplicate, if any testers previously complained about the defect or not. Then we have our enhancement, if we have done any enhancement on our defect or not, if the developers need more information or not. Not reproducible, I mean it is not reproducible or not fixable. Okay, and if it's fixed and as signed, as designed meaning if it was designed as the requirement even after the defect was found on the feature. Okay, that was our class for today. And yeah, STLC, which is related to testing alongside our SDLC. All right.